Project Workbench.
Hello, I'm Jack Trevino, one of the writers of Star Trek Renegades. Along with Sky Conway and Ethan Calk, we wrote the script for this production.
I understand that Of Gods and Men was also filmed, or parts of it were also filmed on this very soundstage, is that correct?
That is correct. The last day of filming of Gods and Men was here at the Laurel Canyon Stages. And the ship was set up in a different configuration, and it served as Gary Mitchell's ship of destruction. On the last day, all the scenes, the climactic scenes, were filmed on that set. Everything came together. All the stories merged and converged at this one point.
So you are very familiar with the Laurel Canyon stages then?
Somewhat, yes.
Excellent.
But they have been pretty much gutted and redressed as the Icarus to accommodate the larger number of crew members so that they would have sufficient room to film everybody from different angles.
You have done much writing in the Star Trek universe before. Can you give me a rundown of some of the other things you've written, and maybe a little bit about the pitching process at Paramount?
Sure. Back in the early 90s, Star Trek The Next Generation, under the leadership of the late Michael Piller, opened up the submission process to outside writers. So writers would be able to come in and pitch ideas, because Michael Piller knew and understood that the Star Trek fans were the people that would give them the source of stories. They knew the direction and the type of shows that they wanted to see. So they opened up the submission process, and I, along with many other writers, sent in spec scripts. Unfortunately, my 2 spec scripts were rejected, but I didn't give up, and I teamed up with a local writer in my hometown of San Antonio, Tony Marbury, and she and I pitched stories to The Next Generation and to Deep Space Nine. We were fortunate enough to sell 3 of them: Little Green Man, Indiscretion, and Quorum. And Quorum went unproduced, but I do understand that they took many elements of that and developed additional stories from those aspects of that show.
So what are some of the differences between working on a script for a show that's on TV versus writing a script for a fan series like Star Trek Renegades or Star Trek Continues?
Probably not too much difference. You know, the Ethan and Sky, we knocked around a lot of ideas. We checked to see what would work and what wouldn't. We'd write it down, then we'd read it out, and then sometimes we say that works very well, or that doesn't work very well, and then we'd go back to the drawing board. So it's a lengthy process, and we actually started working on this about 2 years ago. And then when Sky finally decided that he wanted to go ahead and do this, that's when we went and kicked it up and said, let's get the actual story down. Once that happened, and then you have issues with actors and who's available, who's not, characters, very monumental task to tie it all in together. And we've told that this was a complex story. We have many elements through it, character arcs, morality play, first and foremost, like the original Star Trek. And of course, you have to have tons and tons of action and adventure. Hopefully, we've done well on bringing all those things to the screen.
And how would you compare the production of Gods and Men to Star Trek Renegades?
Well, obviously, we wanted to step it up a notch, because movies that you see in the theater, they've stepped it up a notch, and we are competing against movies that have budgets in the mega millions of dollars, and if we're fortunate enough, if we can raise enough money, we might have something close to $500,000. But the money just goes very, very quickly. There are a myriad of things that pop up where the money just goes. So you got to do what you can with what you have available. The director of photography, Tristan Barnard, and obviously the director, Tim Russer, that's paramount issue with them. That's what they want to do. Thank you all for watching, and we hope you come and visit us at Star Trek Renegades.